make that place relevant again after being
absolutely.
dead for so long. So you can't question any of his coaching, but I'd say the difference between those families is with Arch, there's no potential head coach looming who said they want to coach their son. So I'd say if there is a level of insecurity from that perspective, is Sheduer comes with the potential to get Deion as your next head coach if you
so if that's what they mean, that it's Brian Dable would be nervous that I'm going to get replaced, that to me I understand that concern. If it's I read it more as like the circus that comes along with Deion as that. If it is that, it's like I'm going to get replaced by this guy.
But I don't think it would just be Brian if
be
Deion
the whole
came in, the whole group would, everybody would get wiped out.
If they don't have success this year, they're probably just letting those guys walk off.
Draft the best player that you believe in, and then go make it be successful.
And maybe pick Deion's brain on how he built a successful program at two places in less time than you've had with the Giants. Just an idea. All right.
Yeah. This is an interesting conversation. I've been trying to figure out exactly how to kind of unpack it. I think it's totally acceptable to have some concerns about Sheduer Sanders with Deion. I see arguments on both sides, but we talk about the intangibles. We talk about the importance of leadership and both on and off the field, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. With quarterbacks specifically, that if you feel as though that Deion can take away from that and be too big of a shadow, too much attention, too disruptive, you're concerned about some of the things that he's going to say, whether it's just going to be from a father perspective, whether it's going to be from a I could do a better job, so put me in, let me be the coach. It is another layer of stuff that you don't want to have to deal with. I mean, think about the Philadelphia Eagles. These guys, all of them, all ripped the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Nick Sirianni for any extra aspect, any extra dynamic, whether it was Nick Sirianni talking to fans, whether it was Nick Sirianni with Zach Ertz, whether it was A.J. Brown reading a book, with A.J. Brown talking to the media about the passing game, and you would have thought that it was sound the alarm, we need every single fireman and fire truck and police officer and ambulance. We need it all, man. And it was just ring the alarm. Oh my God, Mayday, 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 Mayday. And now they want to try to downplay and act like having Deion add any of those other extra aspects is like overblown. That doesn't really make sense. That's a bunch of nonsense. And we know it. Because if they are having a bad moment in a season or a bad game or this, that, or Deion says something, they're going to ask Sheduer, what does your dad say? They're going to ask Brian Dable. So Deion recently said that he thinks that Sheduer is being used inappropriate, used, in this way, and he should be used in that way. How do you feel about that? Brian Dable's going to be like, well, I don't really care about the noise outside of this. Is it harder though when it's your quarterback's father? Like, it just becomes a whole thing. So let's not act like there's not potential for that to get really messy. No matter how great of a franchise you are. Whether you're the Kansas City Chiefs, the Philadelphia Eagles, the 49ers, like it's just an extra dynamic that as a franchise you don't want to deal with. Even players can start to really be like, other players on the team can start to be influenced by that more deeply. Especially if it's not smooth sailing. If there's any type of adversity that you have to face. There was some adversity with Bo Nix and Denver Broncos. There was some adversity with Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. There was some adversity with Caleb Williams. Caleb was obviously the most adversity. And now you add another father, an incredibly vocal and popular football father who's currently a head coach at a college program where the mic is going to be in front of his face all the time. And people are constantly going to be fishing for sound bites. It's one thing if he was just like a retired father and it was going to be a little bit more, muted. But we know that's not the case. So it is something that you could be questioned about, that you could question and have some concerns. It doesn't mean you act on those concerns, but it's still appropriate to have the concerns. There's a difference. There's a difference. And if you think Sheduer is that special and that great of a quarterback, then it's something that you figure out and manage and deal with. But like now what Bruce said was like, oh, maybe, you should have a conversation with Deion. But that's also kind of the problem. Because did the Kansas City Chiefs have to have a talk with Patrick Mahomes' father? No. Did the Washington Commanders have to have a conversation with Jaden Daniels' father? No. The Philadelphia Eagles have to have a conversation with Jalen Hurts' father? No. We can do this all day. So the fact that you're even talking about, well, you should have a conversation with him, just means that it's another headache that you don't want to have to deal with. It's another thing. And although I don't think it would be wrong, because I would be like, hey, we do want to draft your son, but we do need to know, like, can you please not comment externally on what's going on here? We want this to work. We need this to be smooth. We need the faith and the trust in the organization. You obviously know things are going to go up and down. Your son's going to have a bad game. He's going to have an amazing game. We need some confirmation of kind of like, how are you going to handle the ups and downs of a rookie quarterback, your son? Like, what are you envisioning? Are you going, when you do have a mic in front of you, are you going to say, hey, I'm focused on Colorado football. I'm going to watch my son and be a fan. But in terms of what I have to say publicly, we're going to keep it all about Colorado right now. I appreciate you guys asking me, but, this is what's right for him. This is what's right for the franchise, etc., etc. Or will it be a circus? It's again, it's another layer. The fact that we even have to have a conversation about this is like shows you that it can be messy. So I don't think it's fair just to automatically be like, this is nothing, or you shouldn't even be concerned about this. Of course you should be. Of course you should be. The fact that Bruce said they should talk to Deion already shows you that it's another layer of something. That it's another layer of something. I don't think you have to be concerned about Deion taking your job because you're already at the end of the road. If this was like year one or even just year two, then maybe I could understand of like Brian Daboll, etc., etc. But everyone that's kind of that has the ability to be fired with this franchise, like this feels like this is it. Even if they have a pretty good year, but they just, are shy of the playoffs, I feel like they're still going to move on from everyone involved. It's like you either have a great season and really have some special moments, or you're out. It's donezo. See ya, bye. Adios. So, I don't think you have to be worried about the Deion shadow in terms of taking your job, because your job already has that shadow, whether it's Deion or anyone else. But yeah, I just don't think it's appropriate to downplay some of the concerns of Deion, because I think it's appropriate. I think it's understandable. We don't have to turn it into anything else beyond that. It doesn't have to be political. It doesn't have to be anything beyond that. It can just be like, this is another aspect that you typically don't have to deal with. It's annoying, no matter who it was. No matter who it was. You always want to control the noise of a locker room, of the team around you. And again, to act like that's not a thing is just disingenuous. Because again, we know it is. Look no further than how the Philadelphia Eagles season unfolded. And we can see. And there's the fear that by having Deion attached to Sheduer, you're going to have that at any given moment. And we know the media will constantly be fishing for it. Constantly be fishing for it. Even when it's something positive. Brian Daboll's balling out with Deion Sanders, and Deion comes out and says, oh, Brian Daboll should be the coach of the year. And Sheduer should be rookie of the year. And they're going to ask Brian Dable, so did you hear what Deion said? He said that you should be the coach of the year and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, how do you feel? How does that feel to have Deion say that? Like, just even something like that is like, dude, I don't, whatever, man. We're 6-3. We're playing great. We're 2-0 in the division. You know, we beat the Eagles and the Commanders. It's awesome. Like, who cares what Deion said? You know, and they're going to constantly fish. Constantly fish. And so you got to figure it out. Now, again, if Sheduer is great, then it doesn't matter. But it's like my dad would always say to me is like, never give a coach a reason to not pick you. You know, never give a coach a reason to cut you when you're going to tryouts and whatnot. Because if you have a bad personality, bad work ethic, you're always talking in the lines during drills and causing whatever. If it's between you and another kid who doesn't do those things, they're going to go with the kid who doesn't do those things. They're going to go with the kid who's more quiet, who works hard, you know, who's not causing trouble, not talking back, whatever it is. So never give them a reason to cut you. Because if it's between you and another kid, they're going to go with the other kid every single time. And so, yeah, again, if Sheduer is just that good, if you think like, no, he is that guy, well, then, yeah, you take him. But if you're kind of like, I think there's potential there, but there's also great potential with this other quarterback as well. And we don't have to deal with any of the extra stuff. That's what happens. So, we'll see how it unfolds. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Deion Sanders? Do you think it's something or nothing that the Giants are concerned about drafting Sheduer with the shadow looming of Deion? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.